We're gonna change the oil on my car. This is a 2010 Subaru Impreza. This applies to most vehicles. We're going to change the oil and the filter, and I'm gonna show you some tips that I've learned when changing oil. So without further ado, let's get started. So here's everything you're gonna need. You need an oil drain plan. Check your owner's manual for how many quarts of oil you would need, or you could go to your local O'Reilly's and just ask, or AutoZone, and just ask them if they could look up your oil capacity. You need an oil filter. In this case, I'm using a Wix. It's a part number 57712. This is one of those higher quality Wix filters. And I also have a crush washer that I'm gonna grab real quick. Let me grab that. So when you take off your drain plug, you're supposed to replace the washer. So don't reuse an old one. Just go get a new one. They're very inexpensive, and it makes you feel that you've done this right. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's get under the vehicle, push the pan under, and get this oil draining. Now, on most vehicles, you'll have like a protective plastic skid plate. I have removed that from my car so we can, so I could do the lower radiator hose, which has been done. That'll be for another video. Well, I didn't do a how to do the radiator hose. I did a how to flush the coolant, but that'll be another video. Right there, that bolt right there on the oil pan is going to be your drain plug. I'm going to go ahead and throw on the time lapse. We're going to get this bolt off and let all this oil drain in here, and then I'll explain to you guys what we're going to do next. So let's get this done. Things I did: one is I wiped my hand off with a paper towel because I got oil all over. Two, just like I did with this radiator, which you're going to see in the next video, you can remove this cap and the airflow will force the oil to come out a lot faster. I'm going to replace the crush washer, so what we'll do is we'll take the old one off and put it right here and grab the new one. It should just slide right on like that. Now we can go reinstall this when it finishes draining all the oil. So I do have one tip. When you go to a shop, usually they'll put a sticker like this in your car, and they'll write the mileage when your next oil changes. In this case, I don't have those type of stickers. However, if you do grab a piece of masking tape, you can write down the mileage that you have to do it next, so that way you don't forget it. Just take a small piece, and in this case, my next change will be at 109,000 miles. Sweet. All right, let's get that oil filter off. It's right by the catalytic converters, so these are going to get drenched in oil when we go to remove this. Make sure you have your drip pan ready because there will be oil. Sometimes you need tools to remove it. In this case, I had to use pliers, and I did slightly damage the filter, but luckily it will not be reused in the car, and just remove it. Filtered, I'm going to show you something I do. So dip your finger in the oil and take some of the new oil and spread it around the O-ring. This will equally spread around the O-ring, so that way when we go to remove this next time for an oil change, it will be way easier. So with that, let's go and install it in the car. Now that we are done with underneath the vehicle, we got the filter in, we got the drain plug in. I'm going to stick a funnel in the engine. I'm going to do a time lapse of me putting in the new oil. I'm going to be using, I'm not sponsored by Mobil, but I'm going to be using Mobil 1 5W30 Advanced Synthetic Motor Oil for my Subaru, since I do a lot of driving. So without further ado, let me go grab a funnel and we'll get started. Now, one thing I should mention is while you're filling your car up with oil, go under the vehicle and look to see if you can see anything dripping. In this case, I left those drips a while ago, but most common places would be the filter and the drain plug, which is obviously where you go drain from. And in this case, I don't see anything except the oil residue that was left on the cats, which is probably going to smolder when I start it, but that's okay because it'll burn off. I'm going to continue filling. Now that I've filled up the oil quite a bit, it's a good time to go ahead and check the level to make sure that we're not overfilling. So we're going to pull the dipstick out, wipe it off, put it back in. And in this case, it looks like we can continue adding. So we've got one more quart. We're going to go ahead and put in. Pour this last quart in. And you notice I am pouring the bottle sideways instead of like this, because sideways there's less resistance to the pour. When you pour it this way, it'll go like bloop, 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 bloop. In this case, I like to take the quart and leave it sort of like this for a little bit. Oh, if I can get the bounce for you guys. That way it has plenty enough time to drain the rest of the oil out of the bottle. And we'll check it as soon as we're done. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up real quick. Very nice. We're right at the full line. So if I could just get the dipstick to go back in. All right, we'll now go start the car up and check for leaks. Looks good to me. Smoke. That's just the oil that I spilled on the catalytic converter from where that bad area for the oil filter was. So that is a pretty crappy design. I don't like anything like that. So yeah. So anyway, that concludes the oil change on my car. Stay tuned. I've got more how-to videos, car related, coming. If you guys want more do-it-yourself car maintenance and repairs, like and comment below. Have a good day.